message.
Hey dudes, it's Jeff the Alien coming to you from outer space, and you're listening to the Weird Minds Podcast, hosted by my boy, Cory Hollow. Enjoy the show!
All right, man. So what's up? How you been?
Hey, I'm good, man. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for coming on.
Huh?
So thanks for coming on.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Of course. So what you been up to?
As far as the music world, not a whole heck of a lot this last week or so. You know, we got the holiday coming up. We got to do more than 9 to 5 kind of deal. Work the second job to pick up for Christmas stuff, and
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me what's the band been up to?
Right now, Cursive Ezee. Like I have two bands, Let It Go and Cursive Ezee.
Yeah.
Let It Go is my friend Eric Spivey, who we've had basically probably almost every band up until Cursive Ezee, and even then he played in that band as well. We've been ever since I was like 18, so it's been like 20 years we've been playing together.
Hell
But
yeah.
we took a couple years off. He had different things going on, and he's here actually right now. Our drummer, we had like kind of a difference with our drummer or whatever. He kind of did different things, so we didn't play for a couple years, and we just have reunited. I guess if you want to call it. I guess went off a hiatus. When was that? It was like 2 weeks ago.
Can I ask what caused like the hiatus?
What's that? Just the drummer. We had our drummer was a really good drummer. We've been in a couple bands with him and stuff, and him kind of just not having the tenacity to play enough.
Gotcha.
We just couldn't play. Yeah. Plus, I had Cursive Ezee, and Cursive Ezee took more of my time. I mean, if you want to say that.
Hell yeah. So I've been dying to ask, what is the whole story behind the band's name, Cursive Ezee?
Okay, well, you could go two ways with that. One, the easiest way would be Billy Madison.
Okay.
The Rizzuto part where he's, but going along with that, like I'm now mature enough in my age to have children and see that they don't get taught cursive. They get taught just enough cursive to write their name. And
you'd be surprised how many people nowadays do not know how to sign in cursive.
What's sad about that though?
What's up?
Like all of our documents are important things, like the Bill of Rights and stuff. They're all in cursive. So if you can't read cursive, you can't even read the important documents we have.
Well, even then, nowadays, if you go to sign a contract or you're signing a check to pay for something, you sign that in cursive typically. And I used to sell energy, and so a lot of times I'd need their signature at the end of the forms. Mm-hmm. And people go, I don't know how to sign cursive. I'm like, you're 65 years old. How do you not know how to sign cursive?
Right. Well, I've got a Cursive Ezee on my forearm here.
Oh, cool. Hell yeah.
And I always tell people it's just a fancy 3. So yeah, Cursive Ezee came from that, in a lot of ways. Plus, like, I don't want to say I play punk rock. I really hate being typecast as any kind of music, because like personally I've been into like the Doors and everything under the sun, so it's like it's so I have a huge variety. I mean, I was just listening to the new Ice Cube just a few minutes ago. I think that like people with that kind of ideology are kind of dinosaurs, and like just like cursive is, it's like the kind of the throwback. I'm like the boomer age,
Yeah.
So
tell me what got you started in music? What got you interested?
I think I'll tell you what. I that's a good question too, because I don't think too many people have ever asked me. I think really what was one of the driving forces. I was in about 7th grade when I decided I wanted to be a band. And it took me about 4 years later until I could do that. Because I had to, get it out of my parents' like roof enough, or be a senior, so I could drive around and find people to get a band. But it was Minor Threat.
Hell yeah!
I heard Minor Threat from a friend of mine, and I guess it was because like I thought you had to be this guy who sang like like I guess ballads and shit, and then I heard Ian MacKay or whatever you want to say, like it was like I guess screaming at a wall in a sense, to coin their own band phrase to it, but like it really was. It was like the aggression and stuff like that. I understood, and it spoke to me, and I was straight edging because I had no I had never done anything to be anything other than straight edge. So I just identified with it really hardcore, and then that got me into things like, um, Screeching Weasel and the Misfits, and actually Bad Religion and Descendants, who became even more bigger influences to me. So yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
pretty much it.
That's
But I've
so
always
cool.
been into music, and then I thought the thing about being in a band to me was like, I've always been really motivated by art, like an artist. I call myself an artist, but being in a band is like or playing music in a sense is it incorporates so many different styles of things into it. Like your graphic design, your sound recording, performance, like so, and like your lights and stuff like that. So there's like so many avenues to be creative in it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
You're like,
what was the first instrument you picked up? Would it have been vocals, guitar?
oh, I started out, I had no experience, zero, absolutely none, and I have now. I just have a little bit, uh, but no, I started out as just a vocalist, and I can't believe I had so much tenacity just to start a band and not have any like really skill set.
Yeah,
I
that's
had
kind of same.
balls.
I was, when my band first started, I started out as just a guitar because I always play guitar, and then we just could not find a vocalist, and I'm like, one day I practiced, I'm like, fuck it, let's try it.
I actually heard your vocals just the other day, and it's
Oh
like
yeah,
that was good. Yeah,
thank you,
yeah,
thank you, appreciate that.
yeah. But like my thing, I think what I built up is I've actually performed naked a few times, and it just got me to the point where I didn't care what people thought anymore.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? 'Cause, like, once you've like performed doing something that you're already kind of nervous about, you're like being a front man or a singer or a vocalist, whatever you want to call it, is kind of one of those things. It's like you have to have balls of like steel and like know that you got a target on your back. Everybody in your
yep.
band hates you, you know. Like
You're in
everybody's
shows,
like,
everyone's eyes are right on you.
yeah, but at the same time, yeah, you're also you're the reason that the band sucks. Supposedly, it doesn't that doesn't isn't really true, but
Yeah,
you
it
know
always falls on the vocalist.
it does because they think like, oh, you don't do anything, but you know it kind of does. And but like once you realize like I said, like first time I was totally sober when I got naked the first time. I was like I said, like listen to bands like Screeching Weasel and shit, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna do this. It's punk rock, and I was like in my early 20s, and when I did, like I was like, all that feeling of self consciousness about like things, because it wasn't like I always did like do kind of like dare kind of shit in the first place, but
Yeah,
after that, like I was like, I didn't bother me anymore. Like I knew like you can like or hate me. I don't really give a pardon my language, but I really don't because I don't go out there to play for you. I mean,
you're out,
yes, I'm grateful if you love like us or love us or whatever, or even
but
if
I'm here to process my own traumas and my own thoughts and
yeah,
feelings and expressing myself to my fullest potential because most of the days we can't express ourselves that way.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
It's like and do it in a creative way instead of like just like building up everything and just like driving and running into another car on the road
yeah,
or flicking them off.
exactly.
Yeah, it's a good vent. And like I said, it's like I think it's helped me out a lot in life. I've had a few of my siblings pass away. One of them he had
I'm so
overdosed.
sorry to hear that. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it happens, and like it's good because like I've had a lot of friends, especially now. I've had a lot more friends over the years who die of drug overdoses and stuff like that. And I think what's helped me out a lot was having this like direction to push something into.
To keep
Like
your
it kept
focus
me,
towards, yeah.
yeah, because even I quit being like because I was an alcoholic for quite a few years, and I've been like I won't say sober as far as like I've drank a beer here and there, but like what which is even cooler because like um
You be
I
able to
don't have
bring back the
I,
discipline to, yeah.
yeah I don't have to. It's not even like I'm white knuckling it anymore. It's just I have enough self
Control.
interest and self
Yeah.
worth that I just don't feel it anymore. And
No.
I knew I had to be that way because like playing in a band, I knew I was going to be around bars and shit like that. And I couldn't be like, oh God, I'm getting the tremor, shakes here. But I was a full fledged alcoholic for a great many years, and seeing that the band was more important to me, putting my art out was more important to me than being a fucking washout, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just dawned on me when my dad died. Right before he did, he told me he's like, I don't want to see you be die of your own hand. And I laughed at him, thinking like, oh, you're silly, But then when he passed away, like I had this day. The next day was like I could go one of two directions in life. I could go and dump all this alcohol more, because now I feel like sorrowful for myself, and have a wallow in the self pity, or I could stop because it's not gonna be any better for me. And I did. And I took it.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Of course.
And that's also an avenue, like the album, my the Cursive Ezee's album that I put out. It came out last year,
Hell
and
yeah. What's the name of the album?
it is called "Hot Nights and Cold Showers."
Hell yeah, and it's on Spotify, Apple Music, and all that.
Yeah. Some of the songs I had, because there's 2 covers on it, and I hate cover bands. By the way, I'm going to put that right out in front street here. I think cover bands are thieves. I have a few friends that play them, and I can make some exceptions on it, but as a general rule, they're thieves. And when we can't even be on things and put other people's music without paying a licensing fee for them, or to get written consent, and people can go out and make $1,000 a night off of playing other people's music. It's crazy.
You know how that works, right?
How's that? What works?
Why they're able to do that?
Oh, why? Because it's fair act or fair use, or
no? It's not from fair use. Most venues have to buy a license for any kind of music being played.
Yeah, but a lot of them don't.
No, yeah, you're very, very correct. A lot of the bars and a lot of venues don't actually have those licensing.
Yeah, and then it's like I said, it's like every musician plays covers. I mean, Elvis is half of his record were covers.
90% of his discography is covers.
Right. But the thing is, it's like he actually did them his way. Yeah, that's the big difference.
That's exactly.
With the radio, you're just aping somebody, and like, then which also, it not only is it like pretty okay. Playing an original band, we're at a disadvantage because nobody's heard what you play.
Yep.
So for one, you've got to beat it in people's ears, which arguably it's hard to do that because if you're not an arrogant, egotistical, narcissistic asshole, it's kind of hard to, you kind of know, like, I shouldn't probably tell this to another person, but you have to market yourself, you have to sell yourself like everybody else.
Shamelessly market it anytime you can. Yeah.
Yep. And everybody in your band has to do that, and it's like it's all for all and all for one and all for or one for all, because there can't be person to point fingers at. It's got to be about it. It's got to be selling that product. And you got to look at it as that, and bands, the song isn't what's going to make you the money or whatever, because like we all do this for love. It's definitely not for money, but like at the same time, you should have an idea that merchandising and having a logo and things like that are just as important as the actual music you're selling.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Because like we've all
that's where you're making most of your money is through merch.
Oh, it's 100% of it. What it is. I mean, look at the Misfits. If that doesn't prove everything, but it's like that's the only reason they got into Madison Square Garden. I love them to death, but like I mean, I got the great thing to play with Michael Graves at one point, and I thought that was awesome. He was a great guy. Yeah, in my own hometown of Lima, Ohio.
That's cool.
Yeah. And I actually, back in the day, Eric and I like it was like about a third band we played in was like real quick. We started out playing as a Misfits tribute band. This is back in 1996, 97-ish. So before it was like cool like the Misfits.
Yeah.
Before they got back together, exactly. Like right at that time. And we played like one show. We like played all these Misfits stuff. And so to this day, I still play Misfits songs here and there, or Samhain, which I like better, or Danzig. So yeah.
No,
I don't know.
I completely agree with you when it comes to cover bands, though. Like if you're doing a cover, especially as an original band, if you're doing a cover, make it your style. Bring it to where it's your same sound. Like that's every time we played a cover, that's what our entire goal I've always said is like, if we're playing a cover, we're gonna play it for the first couple times exactly as is in practice wise, but then we're gonna start shaping it into our sound and making it the way we want to play it. Because that's the only way you're gonna start separating yourself from those covers if you are playing those covers.
Right, because like on our album, there's 2 covers on it, and I've heard from a lot of people didn't even know they were covers, because I didn't pick them for the fact that I wanted to make them. They're not like, hey, I'm going to play Metallica at this thing so you can hear and understand me. And
you didn't pick it for the crowd. You picked it because you wanted to play that cover. Yeah,
right. Exactly. One of them was, I've always liked Dax Riggs. I like Acid Bath. I like all the stuff he's ever done. So Let Me Be Your Cigarette's one of the songs that's on there, and I changed it. Yeah, I changed it. It's got a little bit more guitar than his does, but it's still the same day. It's Dax Riggs' song. And then the last song on the album is a Husker Du cover of Diane. And what promoted me to want to play Diane is I heard another band, and I can't think of their name right now, but it was a really bad cover that was like a huge video. And I'd seen this video, and they take, there's a line in the song. It's actually song Diane is actually based on a true murder. The guy had killed 2 different people, and the song is basically tells the story of the girl Diane getting killed. And there's a line in it. It says like, "I think I'll rape you and kill you instead." Their cover did not have that line in it. That was how PC they had made their cover, and they did the strings too. I was like, "This is horrible. This is absolutely shit." So it promoted me to make my own version of it. So
Hell yeah, it's dope. So what
it
are a
is.
lot of topics do you guys talk about in your music?
A lot of well, I think they fall into 3 different things. A lot of them. Well, let's put it this way: Hot Nights and Cold Showers is a concept album in a sense, because it starts out with the way that the song is there. It's kind of a story being told of being born in the world, being having no idea what you're supposed to do with yourself. Getting around people and the drugs and the alcohol and everything else. You immerse yourself in it. At first, it's just tiptoeing in, and it can take you away at it. And then and it's all about trying to find love or acceptance or whatever. So then you find love, and it's usually in places like bars and stuff. Well, back in the day, it used to. After COVID, everything's different. But in the songs to go order, being in a bar and stuff, and then consummating the relationship, sexually, and then that whole thing where you think you're going to be together with somebody, and then arguing stuff happens, and then one person can take it too far, and then the murder happens. So
Gotcha,
that's
yeah.
kind of the nutshell what the songs are about. They're like dark things, a lot of relationship stuff, and sometimes they, because it's all human nature. I think is
Yeah.
approximately. I never really typecast myself for what, I've always had, like I said, different influences like the Doors and the Misfits and, Bad Religion and then Slayer and Venom and, the Wu-Tang Clan, but
I think it's important though to have that broad when you're as a musician or just an artist in general to have that broad spectrum of where you're pulling influences from, because then it just
oh yeah,
helps you be able to create so much more unique stuff, and then you're not worried about, oh, this riff is the same exact riff, such to such band play. You get such more unique and more yourself creatively out of that.
yeah, and especially if like people like don't listen to stuff that happened in the past. There's so many great bands and things that people are going to forget about because it's just not like what's hip at the moment. Like,
Yeah,
metal's kind of the hip thing, It's like,
yeah,
and
it's been starting to get a massive comeback in like main media.
yeah, yeah, it's and like you know, I'm like I've always liked the band. I like the Carpenters. I like Kenny Rogers.
Yeah,
Those are people I like. To this day, I can probably hear the whole discography of either one of those 2 people, and I'm fine. I can listen to the whole thing. I like I like metal too. I like Deicide, but I can listen to one Deicide album and I'm cool for a while.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Because there's nothing about talent. It's nothing about like what kind of music I like better. It's just some things can rest more easily on your soul. I think.
Yeah.
You
There's
know?
only like one genre I guess I could say that like really I can't listen to nowadays, and it's like modern country. Like, the southern rock and stuff like that. To me it's not country. No, to me country would be like
No,
Hank Williams Jr.
yeah,
Those guys.
yeah, yeah. It's also the same. Like I don't like the new pop music as much
Oh yeah, I
because
completely agree.
I mean, I've listened to pop music since I was a kid. Like back when this guy I was working with the other day, he was like, "What got you into music?" I'm like, I started listening to like Casey Kasem, back in the day. That's what Rick Dees and Rick Dees nuts. But
I was just
uh,
thinking that.
yeah, but uh, like I just listen, like I listened to music back when like DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince was a thing before Fresh Prince of Bel Air. So it's like you know um that was like Nightmare on My Street was like the first like rap song I think I heard like on the radio. Um, Probably that or maybe the Beastie Boys, one of those 2. But like I had a radio and a tape cassette in it, and I would put the radio. If something came on, I'd wait for it to come on the radio, put it on that tape, record it, and that's how we had it. We didn't have computers until I was like an adult.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, that's the bad thing and the good thing about computers. I mean, in a lot of ways, it's made more bands. It seems like
Yep.
and more
Well,
craft.
especially I feel like COVID has allowed more bands and more artists in general to just kind of start finally had the time to like, oh, I have nothing else to do today. Let's actually I've been wanting and dreaming of playing guitar, whatever instrument or whatever the artist is doing. But I mean, For all the bad things COVID did, and the massive boom in creativity and music has been a beautiful thing to see.
I agree with some of that. I do. I think there's always been a lot of guitar players. I think now they just have more voices.
Yeah.
You know, maybe some of them should. Yeah. And I'm not saying I should. But I at least give the a lot of the outcasts somebody to be part of, because like I've never been the cool guy. It's
Yeah.
like, say I'm like boo me, but like
We call anyone that's a fan of a fan of Ash Hollow, we call them, hey, come join the weirdos. We're a bunch of weirdos. Come be part of the weirdos.
well, I think it's cool because like I saw you were posting up about the metal band thing, and like here in Lima, was one venue, like like I said, a lot of the bars and stuff have like either closed down, or because like we went from having, like, let's say there was 100 people at a show before, or 50, to about half of that now.
Yep.
Like, because people they're just too, the youth doesn't really do it like they used to, because they have like things like, you know they got the Nintendos and the jerk off videos instead of the porno mags or whatever. you know,
The
it's
access
just
to everything is so much,
yeah,
so much greater.
but not because it's like there's a song by Bad Religion, like My Computer. Everything's got this wall, this barrier fucking between it. Like, you don't really talk to people anymore. You talk to them online, and that's why every day I've got somebody trying to catfish me. And some woman like, "Why are you on Facebook?" I don't know, because I have friends on here. I'm trying to sell my band, not to try to look for a wife today. I'm looking for love, man. It was
That's
nice.
why I love working in retail, is because I get to have that experience of just talking to people constantly all day.
Yeah, yeah. I do. That's my second job. I work in selling calendars at the mall. I'm the manager.
Hell yeah!
So
I
yeah.
just started working up at a Guitar Center up in
Oh
North Olmsted.
wow,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, it's been a blast.
Yeah. Huh. I don't know. If I worked someplace like that, I would just be trying to get, like, when people came in with stuff, I'd be, oh, I'm gonna get that one.
Every
Like,
time someone comes in for a trade-in that's like super cool, I'm like, I'm gonna hide this over here so no one can see it.
yeah, yeah. Because like about the next thing I order or buy like that, like a big purchase, is probably a Squire Bass 6.
Ooh, hell yeah,
Yeah,
hell yeah.
because like I'm always about, like, I don't believe in buying the most expensive things. I'm totally like,
I always tell people when they ask me what would I recommend, I'm like, whatever you find is the most comfortable and talks to you. That is a guitar you need. Don't look at the
I don't
price.
like that shape of guitars, but like I play Epiphone, I play Gretsch, and I customize everything I have. So
Hell yeah, yeah,
so it's mine. You know what I mean?
yeah,
That's
exactly.
I think that's what makes it cooler.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
because I don't want to sell it off afterwards. So I want it to be sold as my guitar, not like as a perfectly nice black guitar. So
I had a custom guitar built one time when I was living out in Seattle, and I was running low on funds at one point a few years ago, and I was like, I don't want to sell this, but I have to. And then I was hoping it would just, because there was no known brand on it. It was just a guy that built guitars out of his garage, so like the brand was no known. It was a telly body with a beautiful handmade neck, and he made it super thin for me and super like uh had more of like that like kind of flatter backside on the neck.
mhm.
And so it was just like, I have a lot smaller hands, so it was the perfect guitar for me. And it had the lipstick pickup with the coil pickup in the bottom for the bridge, and it was the perfect metal and blues guitar. But then I was low on funds and I had to sell it. And I was like, I hope no one buys this. And
Yeah.
I would go in for like months, and I'm like, okay, it's still there, it's still there, it's still there. And then it disappeared. I'm like, no, my baby.
It sounds like I had a hollow body. It was a
Ooh, hell yeah.
stadium hollow body with the Bigsby bridge on it and everything. But at the time, I wasn't like really doing anything with that sound. And those guitars have a distinct, like, that the hollow body is like playing an acoustic with a pickup in it. It
Yeah,
has, like, it's so over distorted.
beautiful jazz guitars.
Yeah. So at the time, I was like, now I could use it, because I think an instrument, if you have them. I don't collect things like that. I collect transformers. That's what I collect. But like guitars and stuff are tools to me. Like,
Okay, yeah, no, I got you.
they're my favorite thing I have. I mean, I fight a motherfucker over them, but like, um, they're tools. Like, I don't want to have a bunch of shit I can't use. And
Okay. I'm the complete opposite. I love collecting instruments. I have so many instruments that I have played them once in a sense, and I can play Mary Hello Lamb on them, but I have them just because I love collecting instruments. Like the weirdest one I got right now is I got right next to me. It's called an Aztec death whistle.
oh, I got a dulcimer. I
Oh
made
hell
an
yeah!
electric.
I got one from my wife's grandma in my closet right now. Yeah, I love those
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, I put a pickup on it, and so I'm gonna make it
Ooh,
electric.
that's so
Yeah,
cool. Fuck yeah.
yeah.
Turns like a
So
lap steel.
basically, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
hell
I
yeah.
saw a guy doing he was playing a 3-string one and was doing like Motorhead and stuff on it. I was like,
Fuck
that's
yeah.
really cool. So
That's so cool.
yeah, and I just put a pickup piezo in my acoustic. I built an acoustic guitar out of like I think it was a Rogue at one point or whatever, but it
Okay.
needed the bridge put on it, and it needed it was the body was scrapped, and so I put it all together, and I grab my guitar there, my acoustic, black, yeah. Uh, Once again, like so, my acoustic, I had to have like something that like didn't look like the
Fuck
normal
yeah.
acoustic.
That's fucking dope. Hell yeah.
Yeah, so I just put the piezo in it, which I got it from Temu, because I'm also cheap. Or what do you say? Put this in
Oh,
it.
that's
But,
cool as fuck. That's
yeah,
so cool.
yeah, it plays okay.
Hell
But
yeah.
I'm pretty happy about it because, like, it's like that's what makes you feel accomplished. It's like doing the job. And the reward is the thing is like this means more to me than if it was I spent $5,000 on this guitar. And
Yeah.
it's whatever. I mean, it could be a Rogue. I don't even know what it is anymore. But
Oh,
like, it's
I
mine.
completely understand what you're saying. Because my most favorite guitar I have is this 1964 Tiesco Del Rey from Japan,
Really.
and it's the only thing I don't
19
like about it is it's got a floating bridge on it, but
Yeah, that
it's
stadium
very
I had.
yeah, but the neck is very similar to that custom I had. So it started playing it, and it was so smooth. The strings were just it was butter, it was like playing butter. It was so
Hmm.
nice.
Yeah, I think my favorite guitar I have like 3 guitars like the really right now that I have to play that are electric for band stuff.
Yeah,
And and like I said, I play with the Les Paul style body. So I have I have a Gretsch.
fuck
Gretsch
yeah.
was it a Jet Junior or Jet Junior is like what it's called. And it's straight stock as far as the pickups and everything like that. I've just painted the body different. And then I have an Epiphone Junior, which was the guitar I wanted. I said, "This is the guitar I want to have." Some of my friend actually, he has a lot of guitars, and I was telling him one day, I was like, "If I had my goal, if I had my own like signature model, it'd be an Epiphone, and it would be a Junior because like
Ooh,
I
hell
think they're just basic. They're so Spartan. They've only got like 2 knobs on them, 1 pickup. They have that crazy ass weird bridge that you have to wrap over, and he just turns around, and I said I want a black one. He turns around on his wall. He probably had like 20 guitars. Dave Frederick is one of his
fuck
greatest
yeah.
musicians. He pulls it off and gives me one. Like I didn't even know he had it,
Yeah.
and it had to be my main guitar. I put an Invader pickup in it, so that's because that's what I wanted. I wanted to call it a hot rod. Just that's what it is—a strict bare bones guitar.
Fuck yeah.
You know, it's got probably the hottest pickup you can really buy, one of them, and it's just on and off and a little tone, which tone doesn't really do anything either.
Yeah.
So
Hell yeah.
yeah, that's what it is. And I painted it like my dad's car because like my parents drag race. That's the community I grew up with when I was coming up as a kid, and like he had a dragster, rear engine dragster, and when he died, I painted that guitar like his dragster, like kind of like it
Yeah, that's
has
so
the
cool.
yeah. So that's why it's the hot rod.
Fuck yeah.
So
So I
yeah,
kind of got a two-part question for you.
okay.
What is your process for writing, and then what is your band's process when you guys are all together for writing?
Well, it depends. Let It Go and Cursive Z have 2 different processes.
Okay, yeah,
Cursive
love
Z
to
is
hear both.
more. Cursive Z is more me. Me and the drummer. Like I'll usually come up with. Like I've already got most of a second album already for that. Like
Fuck yeah.
I kind of write it by myself. Like, not that I can't. Like if people want to add something to it, I'm always good. I mean, it's not like it's like I'm not like a taskmaster. Like no, it's this way. Nine. Das ist nicht sehr gut. But um, but with Let It Go, Eric and I usually he would come up with a riff and I would come up with vocals for it, or I would come up with a bass line for something and he would add to the guitar riff to it, like to come up. Because that's Let It Go. I play bass for. I played guitar for a while. That's why it started me in Cursive Z being just a guitar player. But that's how I keep the difference in them because I do vocals for both of them. Bass is what Let It Go does. Cursive Z, I do guitar.
Hell yeah.
So, which was a big, huge learning curve in some ways because like I had a good sense of timing and rhythm, but like I hadn't really had much skills as the soloing and stuff. And I still I believe to be any kind of musician. Well, I don't even like call myself a musician, but like I'm always a student of playing.
Yeah.
I'm never
Yeah.
gonna be like, I'm not gonna sit here and go, I'm great or good or whatever.
If you're
Doesn't
not
matter.
always pushing yourself to break out of what you're used to and what you're already comfortable with, you're never going to become better or learn anything in life.
True. Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, I just feel that you never know enough
Yeah,
about anything.
exactly. Yeah,
You know?
exactly. So then would the lyrics come first, or does the music typically come first for you guys?
The idea comes first usually.
Okay.
I mean, sometimes I've written a lot of like being a vocalist in the beginning. I came up with tons of poetry. I mean, I was, you know, I wrote just as much as I drew and stuff like that. So I came up with a lot of lyrics, just and I would just try to sing them, quote unquote, over the top of what the songs were. And as time went on, I've come up with like little ditties. I probably played a lot of stuff on my acoustic bass. I have a Ibanez acoustic bass,
Ooh, hell
and that's probably what I've written. Probably over 3/4 of the songs I've written as a musician. As a vocalist, I would, like I said, I would come up with stuff too, whatever they were doing. Um, so like Cursive Z, like I wrote almost every song on that except for Recover and a couple parts that Will, who was the bass player, or Eric, even when he was playing the bass, helped me with. They came up with something, I threw it in there. But yeah, it's like I usually come up with a concept. Is usually what will start a song, and
yeah.
then
Hell yeah.
because like this one, I've got like there's a song I wrote for this new album, which is going to tentatively called Liminal Spaces for Rent. Is the name, is like, I guess what I'm going for it. But there's a song called For the Devil I wrote, and then I wrote it about the Salem witch trials. But at the same time, I was like dealing with some girlfriend that cheated on me or something. So it was like the mismatch of those two things kind of led to like the horror. But like
Oh, that's cool as fuck. Yeah.
yeah. But it's like the heaviest song. It was another thing actually. Like that whole chip on my shoulder about punk rock. That I didn't want metal kids looking down at me. So like it's like the heaviest song I wrote. And then I came up with another song called D Train, and it's like it's a drop D because I know I had that like train chuggy thing through it, which is another thing. Like I hear a lot of bands and they do the yell over the chuggy D drop D playing, and I want to make sure that people didn't think I was inept at doing it.
No, yeah, I completely get what you're saying though, because like we do a very similar thing in a sense. Like we don't let we call it like we call ourselves, because people ask us all the time like, oh, well, what kind of like style you are, like what kind of style, like what genre you guys play. I'm like, it's a metalcore bass, but that's about it for like genre specific, because we have songs that are like, we have one song on our EP that's coming out that's a complete shoegaze song, has nothing to do with metal at all. And then we have like, a couple other
Right.
songs we've written that are like total like Pink Floyd psychedelic stoner doomy shit, you know what I mean? And so
Like
yeah. And so like, we never try to hold ourselves to like one specific thing, but we do have in a sense a concept for each song tells this a singular straight line story.
hmm yeah, that's about what I would say I come from. Like actually, I'd probably be more random than that because like if you get on like Bandcamp, which is Chris and C's Bandcamp,
Yeah.
um, there's like there's an instrumental that's definitely sounds like Halloween music, like you would hear it when you're going trick or treating. It's like just like sounds like that. It really does.
Yeah,
And
we have
then
a instrumental as well, but when we got a podcast like live streamed it for us and like gave us a review for it. It is the funniest review I've ever gotten. He goes, "Dude, I feel like I'm smoking weed and playing Dungeons and Dragons in my basement." I'm like, "Yes, that's exactly what we wanted."
that's what you're. Yeah, I put an EP out like end of last year, and it was like 4 covers, and one was like Fish Heads. Do you know that song? Familiar with it?
Uh, it's not coming off the top of my head, no.
Okay, it was like a Doctor Demento song.
Okay.
I'm pulling my age here. That's where Weird Al came up at in the
Oh yeah,
beginning.
gotcha.
It's like it's a novelty song, and it's the kid from Lost in Space. He sang it. So, anyways, I did more of a metal version of it.
Fuck yeah.
So there's one of that's a cover, which is ridiculous. And I covered "Let It Go," so I covered myself. You know,
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
yeah, it's just like those are like kind of the dumb jokes I would think about. They aren't really jokes in a sense because it's not like everybody gets them. It's more why I would do something. And
No, I have a song that I've been slowly writing. This song has been taking me months to write just because the one line that I've written is like, I love it so much I don't want to fuck up the rest of it, because
mhm.
it's like you're saying, it's a total inside joke with me and a couple of the band
Yeah,
members.
yeah, Yeah.
And so the line is the fuck is it? Let me pull it up real quick. It'll take me like 2 seconds because it's literally just one singular line, but it's like my favorite line I've ever written because it's like if you know the inside joke or when I explain it, it's funny and fucked up at the same time.
Right. That's what's good when it's funny and fucked up. Well, while you're looking it up, I will say that I covered "Murder Was a Case,"
Ooh, hell yeah!
and I made it more of a rap oriented. But I did two versions of it. One with the more of a metal style guitar and stuff, and the other one was totally like doing a white guy rap kind of deal. If I could, which was one of those songs that I didn't want to pull any punches when I did it. I wanted to do it like the original version. So.
Oh, I found it. So it's the song title right now is called Vagabond.
Nice.
And it's the one line I have written that I'm too scared to fuck up the rest of the song because I love this line. Is I got my name carved in a bench next to a man with no face.
Well, that's pretty cool.
And it's in reference to Kurt Cobain's bench.
Okay, that's cool. I think Dax Briggs is one of the people who has the most kind of like subtly disturbing song lyrics. You know what I mean? Because like a lot of people say Danzig has like disturbing song lyrics that are like poetic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they still because I mean you could say like Cannibal Corpse has disturbing lyrics or something like that, but like really like where Danzig will say things that are almost like you can almost see the humor in them. And Dax Briggs is another person like he will say things that like they're really pretty, but at the same time very disturbing.
Yeah, I got
like,
you.
Yeah.
My favorite thing about Cannibal Corpse is their vocalist being the massive little what is the bears he collects? The fucking you know what I'm talking about? Like the different like plush bears from like the kids show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's like a massive fan of that show and collects all these bears, and he's the vocalist. Say again?
Is it Care Bears?
Yeah, Care Bears. Thank you. Yeah, he's the he's
the
it just cracks me up because you're like, oh, that's the vocalist for Cannibal Corpse. Like, yeah, you're like, he's smiling with an armful of Care Bears right now. I'm like,
well, like I said,
God.
I can understand that because like I've been in Transformers since I was a kid. Like I was 10 when the animated movie came out in '86, and so I've collected it ever since I was a kid. And like I even did the video I told you about, which is for Working for Death. You can find that on our YouTube, which is Tormented Sounds. Tormented Sounds is kind of like the umbrella corporation that I do everything.
This is the one you sent me, correct? Right?
Yes.
Yeah. Since you brought it up, let's pull it up and let's play it.
I have a Transformer, and so it kind of goes with that. You go with your weird stuff.
Hell yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Let me get it pulled up real quick.
But I had to incorporate that into something. Yeah. Like I'll subtly use Transformer references in songs and stuff like that too. Like I'll name something that or whatever. But I never it's never like Optimus Prime or I kind of keep it like more like obscure. Like Let It Go had a song called Cemetery Wind, which is from one of the movies, the live action movies. It was the department that works on eliminates Transformers from the human population. But it sounds like a metal band name sound,
Yeah.
Wind.
For some reason, it does not let me pull up the messages. It just keeps like forcing me back down to the bottom of it.
Well, I'm sure your listeners
I can get it in post-production.
Listeners can know it's Tormented Sounds, YouTube Tormented Sounds, and it's a movie. What you want to call it? That's how Michael Jackson would call a video. He would call it a film, and it's oh shit! Hey, Courtney. Hey. What's up? You know how I've been trying to this stuff with satanic fucking spells and other witchcraft shit. I found this fucking great book about satanic spells and witchcraft shit.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Fuck yeah. So check it out. So this satanic spells and other witchcraft shit, right? It's got a spell in here to animate inanimate objects.
Huh.
I know. I think I want to try it. You think should we do it?
You sure about that?
Yeah, I think so. I think it'd be cool. So let's do. I mean, give me one more. Give me a transform. Is there one? Yeah, give me that one. Yes. Yes. All right. Cool. All right. Let me find this fucking spell real quick. Okay. Now where's it at? Oh, turning people into frogs, making yourself rich, hexes, curses, bringing back the Third Reich. Here it is, turning things making things animating the dead, animating whatever. I think it is. I don't know. I don't know Latin. All right. I'm pretty sure though I can do this. All right. So I'm going to chant this, right? And then I'm supposed to take this, and then I'm supposed to breathe in life. Okay, so here's words. Formulae buterius, excisis, ex mortem, ex excommunicationem, strigus, illum, utherum, metamorphoses, lycanthropy, possum, inquam. Metamorphoses, lycanthropy, possum, inquam. Okay, so I'll try one more time. Formulae buterius, exorcis mortem, ex excommunicationem, strigus, illum, equitherum. Metamorphoses, lycanthropy, possum, inquam. Metamorphoses, lycanthropy, possum, inquam. One more time, I think. Metamorphoses, lycanthropy, possum, inquam. Metamorphoses, lycanthropy, possum, inquam. Formulae buterius, ex excommunicationem, strigus, illum.
Yeah, I'm sure you're blowing life into him, all right?
I don't know. Oh my god. Check it out. He's transformed.
They control the rhythm, keep their hands clean.
like it's helping the world. But my dad was talking about my father like that. When he passed, like I said, my dad and my mom drag raced since I was a little kid. My dad
That's
first.
badass as fuck. Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
My
So
grandpa
I was,
used to drag race.
yeah. So I was brought up around the car culture. Like everything from like Ford versus Chevy versus Chrysler versus whatever.
Yeah, all of
And
it. Yeah.
it's also like going like Cursive. It's kind of going away. I don't like to go about the liberals and this, that, and it, but like they are trying to get rid of like internal combustion motors. It's and it's sad.
And you saw what it did to California. It killed their grid.
Yeah. Oh well, people don't think about like if cars are powered by electricity, how do you think they get electricity?
And our
They
grid
still,
hasn't, our power grid has not been updated since it was initially built.
but it still has to run off of coal. There's hydro, wind, that stuff does not
Oh,
make
it's
enough.
you release more chemicals into the environment from lithium mining than it ever has been done from coal processing.
I was not and I don't like to go into politics at all because I've never really thought of. I think if you have a soapbox to stand on, usually you can pat yourself back on the back too hard and knock yourself off.
Yeah.
And and I was never about Trump other than I was like, oh, okay, you're fired. But when we got to this election, I kind of actually I thought a lot more about the president, and I also thought like how really backwards our country has gotten as like people like how like it used to be people respected the president no matter what, and
It used to be
like,
about policies, not personality.
yeah, but even if you didn't like the president, you still respected him as the president, and people had flags for their country because like this is our country. Like, or you got to put up a French flag out in front of your house. Like, I mean, that's what we are. We're Americans. Like, I used to believe more in states' rights and believe more like, okay, we should like we are a confederation of states, so to speak. That I should be more about Ohio or more think even more locally about my fucking city. But I don't because I'm not even one of those people who talks about like being white or my genetics or whatever. Because like I don't believe in that. I think we're all just tan.
Yeah. No, exactly. Yeah. Actually, I saw a TED talk one time of this dude who was colorblind, and he invented this device that he would attach to his head that would play vibrations into his ear, which would tell him what the color was that he was looking at. And so he found out from this that everyone is just a shade of orange.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense because like whether you say black or white, neither quote unquote race. When we're both the human race, by the way. I think there's more difference between men and women.
I was just about to bring that point up. I'm so happy you did.
There's more difference between men and women than there is between a black man and a white man or a Chinese man and whatever. And the other thing, we've all been slaves. So like, I just think that we need to look more at respect for the human population. Or I
have a big like philosophy in a sense that we should not abolish the political system, but kind of look back to the Romans in antiquity, because
I still think we need some things about I believe that they had the right idea for our country in the beginning,
yes.
and like,
yes, completely agree.
I think money is like corrupted a lot of it, big pharma,
completely.
And like and even our entertainment industry in a lot of ways. I mean, like you have people like I believe I don't know when to get too much of this. I think people are too busy worrying about being so distinct and individuals, but they end up like when you're an individual part of a group, like like the whole like I lost my virginity at 21. I'm not ashamed to say it. You know what I mean? I lost my virginity at 21. It wasn't like I wasn't trying to do it before that, or I just didn't have the skills I think at the time, or whatever, or I had ideologies or morals about things. But that being said, they talk about like people like kids having their ability to find their sexuality when they're like in elementary school.
Yeah, I never even thought about that shit when I was that age.
That's ridiculous. Yeah, I mean it's crazy. I mean, like I wanted to be a firefighter or whatever. I never got to be a firefighter. You know what I'm saying? Like I if I lost my virginity at 21, I know I changed a lot since I lost my virginity. I know after I got married, I changed. So that being said, like your brain doesn't fully develop until you're like 25.
Yeah.
They don't let kids smoke until they're 21 now. Like when I was a kid, you could be 18 and you're able to smoke cigarettes and even drink.
Yeah, the school I went to still had the gazebo up for their old smoking area.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like you can go get your sex change, something that you can like totally like can and like what I don't understand is like the whole like trans movement, which I'm a Transformers fan, so I always think about that, like which
that was a great joke. I love that.
You know what's funny though? It's not even a complete joke because there's a lot of stuff you think about it. The original Transformers were males, but they don't reproduce like sexually. So the whole female thing, like RC or in the original company, there's Alita 1. They had no reason other than like I guess Japanese like sex kind of thing or whatever. Like our
The hentai and shit.
yeah
Yeah.
yeah yeah. There's a lot of stuff that goes with that. But like but if I can try to make it brief, which is hard for me to do it sometimes. But like um there's a whole lore, like there's a whole great story system to Transformers, which that's part of the reason I'm such a fan of them. Plus the fact that it's like I think arguably one of the smartest toys ever made. You got this thing. It's one thing like a car, like, and I was into Hot Wheels because like I said, I was around the car community. So I got a car that turns into a robot. And so it's a puzzle. It's like three things there.
Nowadays you can get them where they do it automatic. Like you can just press a button and it does the whole cool transformy thing.
Yeah, but that's not the whole thing. Is a puzzle. It's like a Rubik's Cube, a car, Rubik's Cube, and an action figure all in one.
Oh yeah, completely. Yeah.
You can't do that with a video game. You can't do that with a bike. It's just awesome. And then it's like I'll customize some of mine, like paint them or whatever. Like this one doesn't have door handles, or this one's bumper doesn't have this.
Making it more true what it's supposed to be.
Yeah. Which I really like one. And like I said, it's like my Eric, my dude from Let It Go. One time I was like, because I have children, it's hard to sit there and like go out and buy a 20 or 50 or maybe even $100 transformer for yourself when you have kids. And you're like, oh, you're just Peter Pan it way too much here, buddy. But he told me something I always think about it. It's like he's like, yeah, but you could spend that on drugs or something and you won't have anything. And I thought about it, like, yeah, every time I've got a transformer up there and I have like over 100 of them.
Hell yeah.
And that's just since I have rebought them later on in life.
Yeah.
And it's not like I go play with them. I sometimes will change them, but like they're all stationary. But
band practice.
Yeah, I could have spent it. I could have spent it on drugs or drinking or bought a whore. Or I think you read a whore, but whatever. That being said, I could have done one of those things. And it's still self-indulgent, but I wouldn't have had any feel for it, except maybe an STD. Or and then here I got these things, and it's like they're like precious moments figures or whatever.
Yeah.
So I changed my opinion of them, and I thank him very much for that because like it is a cool like thing. But it's like the whole lore behind it's even cooler though. Because like Optimus Prime is arguably one of the coolest characters. Like so like heroic, noble, dad figure kind of guy. It's like they say, but Peter Cullen said that his whole idea for the voice was be gentle enough to be strong, like strong enough to be gentle is what I'm saying. And that's a good way to be. Like you like lead by being somebody who's compassionate for your fellow, who's not looking at the enemy as somebody who's like let's not go in the movies, live action movie ones where Optimus Prime just killing people, but animated G1 Optimus Prime was somebody who was like he wouldn't pull the trigger on somebody. He was like always giving them the benefit of the doubt.
So I think that you prefer the comics over the live actions, the recent live actions?
I watch everything. I've seen every movie in the theater as it came out.
Yeah, honestly,
yeah. But that being said, there's I've seen like The Last Night's horrible. It's a horrible movie. It's probably the worst movie I've seen in a theater that I wanted to go see. It's just it's just a train wreck. But I can always find something I like out of them. Just the fact that like I'm sad because one of these days I'm probably gonna die. I am gonna die, and there'll probably be a movie that happens after I'm dead. And I won't get to see it,
Yeah.
I think about shit like that. So, but yeah, I like I prefer just the whole lore itself over I like the cartoons. I've seen every cartoon.
Did you follow like the Beast Wars stuff?
I did, yeah. And when Beast Wars came out,
I was big into that when I was a kid. Was the Beast Wars?
Yeah, I've got some of the redone ones. Now with Kingdom, they came out. Like I've got my Silverbolt holding Black Arachnia.
Oh yeah.
I ship them like they're supposed to be.
I remember back as a kid, always a lot of the like imagination games I always play was like imagining myself as one of the characters from the Beast Wars and like going outside and transforming and doing all the fun stuff.
Yep. I mean, even like if you look at Beast Machines after Beast Wars, that was a dark, like very dark cartoon as this idea, like going back there and like, which is like my guitar. This one, you'll probably like this. I'm currently putting the electronics back in it, but I bought this. This is an Epiphone VE. I bought brand new.
That looks beautiful.
Yeah, and
That is
it was.
gorgeous.
I originally got it. It was supposed to be all that flat black color, you know.
Yeah.
So it came up with a sunburst or tobacco kind of sunburst deal.
Did you
And
paint
so
it
I
or?
wood burned first, and then I painted. And
That is
this is actually,
amazing.
yeah, this is actually an homage to Beast Wars because since it's a VE, that's the Viacom logo.
Yeah.
This is the Viacom, and you know, it's got the technology at the top, or the organic at the top, and then the technology at the bottom of it.
That is
And then
awesome.
back of it, these are like my own clip jokes to myself. It does have till all or one, and then it has the Waspinator with his thrust head from Beast Machines. But
That's
yeah,
awesome. Dude, that looks beautiful.
thanks. Yeah, I've got like invaders I put in it. And like I said, it's, you know. Oh, and if you look, the Switch is even even an Energon cube.
That is so fucking cool.
Yeah. So like that's why I believe, you know, like that's you know
That's
that's like
awesome.
originally it was like $150, $200.
Oh, you just made that. You made that way much worth more.
Yeah, well, I mean, and that's what I said. Like people like don't like look like car culture is that is what gives me that idea. Like people
Yeah.
used to hot their cars. Now the Honda guys still kind of do that in a sense, but like for the most part, people don't care about cars anymore. Not
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
Like they used to. Like people used to go out and work on their cars. They were proud of their cars. You know, they went
But
from like
now it's more like towards like the supercar where you don't really do much to it. You just get it as it is.
yeah. Well, I bought it. You know, like this like the Cybertruck. Like
It
what
is
a
so
piece of
weird
shit.
seeing those fucking things around. I just think of Halo every time.
Yeah. I mean, we still have like some culture, car culture. We have like the NASCAR
Yeah.
stuff, which is, you know, cool. Like you still have drag racing, which is, you know, I like what's cool about drag racing is like it went from like Shirley Muldowney being like the first woman racer in a sense. Not she was the first woman racer technically, but the first famous woman racer to like now if you flip on whatever sports is on now. You know, and you watch racing, there's like tons of women that are, you know, drag racers, and we've had like, you know, Dana Patrick and NASCAR and stuff. So like as that goes, the sexism in motorsports is actually really cool. I think that's, you know, we had this whole thing with like I was going to shoot back around to this loopy de loop like Trump was talking, you know, but like the whole like
Weave.
men being in women's sports and whatnot. Women and men can compete in racing, and it can be equal.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
it's more of a based on endurance and stuff, or
It's an endurance skill based, yeah.
yeah, or reaction times or whatever. And
Yeah.
that's what's cool. That's what I like about sports like that. That's, you know, I technically it's as much as sports skateboarding is, I guess. Maybe more so in some ways, and maybe
Yeah.
some, you know. But it's an equal playing field.
Well, I feel like
So
skateboarding was like the first sport to have that equal playing field, though. When it came to their competitions, they didn't really discriminate between male or females. If you were a skater, you were a skater.
yeah, well, skateboarding was a lot like motorcycles are to people in a sense, because like I had a motorcycle, and when you ride down the motorcycle down the highway or anywhere, you see another one coming your way, you like give them that nod.
Yeah.
You know, it's just you know that you're both could die really easily on a
Yeah,
motorcycle.
you're throwing the upside down peace sign when they pass. Yeah.
Everybody goes like, you know, the thing about a motorcycle is when you ride a motorcycle, you have to watch out for everybody else.
Everybody. Yep.
You know, a car you kind of just you can drive however, but you have to watch constantly. And but there's this unsaid like camaraderie about motorcycle period.
Yeah.
And skateboarding had that at one point when it was like in the I won't say the beginnings, but like let's say the early '90s,
Yeah.
'80s, early '90s, and that's what got me into a lot of the music I listen to these days, because like Thrasher magazine. I mean, there was a band called FYP. Todd Congelare, he was a pro skater for Liberty Skateboards, and he was the first person who had a thing. He had an ad up like, "You want to buy my 7-inch record from my band, Finish Your Popcorn," or no, it was FYP 5-year plan. Send $5 to here, and so I sent $5. And he sent me stickers and wrote on the back of the thing. It was so cool. Like, and then what was really neat about it was like the first record, which
Well, that just goes to prove that doing those kind of things create lifelong fans.
they do. Like
Yeah.
they do. Like I bought every first like every one of his albums for quite a few years, and like the first 7-inch, which I don't have anymore, had Spike Jonze, who
Oh, hell yeah.
directed, you know, Buddy Holly was the Weezer and so many movies for her. He was on that. He did the picture of it and everything on it too, and had Jeremy Klein was another person who did backup. He was, you know, he started the Hookups brand That was on part of Birdhouse. But yeah, the thing, skateboarding is kind of like robotic now, I think, in a way. Kind of like the Tony Hawk thing is cool too. I mean, a lot of people got into music. This helped us out, in the end. I mean, it got the Misfits out, and which made My Chemical Romance big. I mean, that's what's crazy. I like My Chemical Romance, and my kids like it the same way.
Yeah, I love My Chem.
It's I think that's what's cool about music. It's like more of an equal playing field as that. Like good music can be about that, but it's also not forgetting those bands that like I said, like a lot of people don't realize that like Karen Carpenter from the Carpenters was one of the best female drummers that's ever lived. Better than I think like Sheena E. Or a lot of people. Like she was amazing back then. Like kind of jazz style, but like definitely sing like one of the best female singers of all time, hands down. And then like Kenny Rogers was a bass player. Nobody thinks about Kenny Rogers being a bass player. They think about like selling chicken and singing with Dolly Parton.
Yeah.
And, but luckily we have the internet, and we can watch things on like YouTube and such, and see these performances that are so amazing, so amazing. I mean the '70s, like, go ahead.
No, you're saying you're good.
I was just gonna say the '70s were maybe bad, like started a lot of bands out like the punk rock movement, because like these bands were getting like overdone and stuff. And then you look back and a lot of these bands were pretty cool. They were being the overdone ones, like let's say, what's one that they always bring up that's like horrible for that time? Maybe early Rush, which I like.
Rush. Rush is my all-time favorite band, easily,
hands
down. Oh yeah, I grew up listening to them.
Most talented musicians in a band that have like good songs and then okay songs.
Yeah.
I think like some of the stuff's like I wish they had more anthem. I like Subdivisions is my favorite song by them. But like there's a lot of songs that's like I wish it had a better hook to it. Because it's just the drumming's awesome.
Yeah, that's what's my favorite part of Rush is Neil Peart. He was my go-to for Rush.
Geddy Lee's fucking pretty. Like I mean, they're all good. Like
they're all phenomenal fucking musicians, like you said.
Guy in the band, he's a great guitar player.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You got Geddy Lee who's like playing keyboards with and doesn't even play with an amp on stage. Play with like a like a washer or something just to make it look like it's like straight run, like playing singing, playing bass, and then playing keyboards at the same time. I've actually Cursive Z, like because we had some like I'll say that Travis Twisted T and Will the Beast, and then I have Matty Nice, who's currently incarcerated now for probation for drugs, which I have a whole thing about drugs being fucking ridiculous to put people in prison for. Maybe we can say the whole tax thing probably the reason, like it's not for personal, like it's not for safety. I don't believe that at all. And it's not to like help people out. It's money. It always has been. But
that's why they made pot illegal. Originally, marijuana or the hemp plant was the most high praised commodity in America for the longest time because the tensile strength of the fibers, the fact that you could make it in paper and you could make the turnaround of making paper way faster than it is growing trees.
Let's not forget one other thing illegal: racism. Because black musicians and such, it was straight up. It was because the black man was playing that blues stuff and enticing our white women. I mean, it was, and you can't.
They're just jealous that blues is just a beautiful sound. Metal, blues, and then like psychedelic music is my favorite three like genres.
I like I like psychedelic stuff, but I don't like the Beatles psychedelic stuff.
Same, yeah, same.
I think like they were best in the beginning because like one of the songs I like by the Beatles that I actually do is "Run for Your Life," which is John Lennon's least favorite song he ever wrote, which is such a difference of that to like when he did Imagine, which is probably, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, is probably one of the best songs of all time because it's like the most punk rock, but it says it's such a smart and easily. It's like something that smart should be that easy.
Yeah,
I mean, like, it's simple. Yeah, in a sense, simplicity. Sometimes
looking at a lot of the most biggest hit songs are very simple songs. They're nothing too really crazy or complex.
The Ramones were a simplest band,
Yeah, Nirvana was all about being simple.
Yeah. I listen to I don't know if you know who they are, but there's a band called Local H. They came out.
I think I've heard of them.
Yeah, I really like them. I really like big guys, and I kind of like got into it a little bit. It's like one of those bands that you heard of, or maybe but you didn't really listen to them. When you start listening to them, like, damn, these guys were badass. They were a two-piece. That's what my point is. Like, I had to figure out how to play when I didn't have a bass player, because the hard thing about playing in a band, especially as you get older, is like people have lives other than playing in a band.
Yeah.
So Will, he's an over the road trucker, and like a lot of times, like people don't have the same desire as I do, and I have to understand that. So I had to fucking go, okay, I can either not play shows and do this stuff where maybe well, I'm just gonna record stuff, or I can figure out something else. And
Yeah.
I'm not a guy who wants to give up on people because they can't do it physically, because they have a life with family. I support my kids or whatever. But so I had to, like, I was looking around, and the Scott, who's the singer and the guitarist for Local H, he played with splitting this tone out of his guitar into um, an octave pedal and then running it into a bass cabinet. So I actually come up with a rig to run bass and two guitar amps at the
Hell
same
yeah.
time,
That's so
so
cool.
I can play the two piece
Yeah.
and not lose out. So it makes it for as academic as that it sounds. I'd still have to do it, in my lowbrow, lo-fi way, but it's still cool. Like it made me feel a lot better about the situation, so I don't have to cancel shows.
Yeah, exactly. That's
And,
awesome.
yeah, I really, and like I said, if it wouldn't have been for like a band like Local H, which I was like listening to, but now there's a lot of other bands that do, like what's the Royal Blood? That's a newer band that they do the opposite of that. They play with bass and make a guitar tone out of it.
Ooh,
Which
that is
is
so cool.
yeah, but
There's a band I know of in Seattle. They're called I'm a blank on their name because I have horrible recall. But they're it's a two-piece female band, and it's a drummer and a bassist. Or
nice.
I think it's either drummer and a bassist or a drummer and a guitarist. And they do the exact same thing where they tune the guitar. It's either tune the guitar to where it can sound like a bass and a guitar at the same time, or they do something with effects on the bass to give it that electric the guitar sound with it. And
Yeah,
it's so fucking cool. They're like a little it's a two-piece punk band. I love them.
nice.
Mr.
We have
Dinkles
to
is their name. Mr. Dinkles is their name.
Mr. What?
Mr. Dinkles.
Mr. Dinkles.
Dinkles, yeah. Mr. Dinkles. That's the name.
Nice. Um, yeah, I'll tell you what my favorite bands at this moment, and I'm gonna give them big props. Cybertronic's free. I mean, obviously, I'm a Transformers fan. I've seen Guar and stuff, and I love the fact that like a band could dress like Transformers and come out and play 1980s hair metal kind of stuff and just kick ass at it.
Yeah.
And which is cool. I will say this about, I've seen them twice. No, yeah, I've seen them twice. I went took two of my daughters to that was their first concert, which is cool because like they could like some of the songs like because they play like the Pokemon theme song. They play like stuff besides just Transformer stuff, and like they're awesome. They really are. Because you got to admit playing in general in front of people is like already like hard enough, quote unquote, like even if you're good at it. But to put on like basically like cardboard suits and go up there and play like that and like not have like your stuff come undone or what. Pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty. And so I'm glad that they're getting to some kind of a I wouldn't say mainstream level, but like they've gotten to where they're on like what is it 2 minutes till midnight or what is it called though? That show.
Oh yeah, 2 minutes to midnight on 107.5 or something like that, or
Oh, they have that.
101.7.
It's an internet show.
Oh, okay,
Where,
hell yeah.
yeah, but they were on that when they did it when COVID was on. They had that whole thing where they would do videos with different band members together and at the same time. But
Hell yeah.
that was an interesting thing when COVID happened though. But I'm hoping that like like me and you even talking like this I'm putting on shows in Lima. I've been doing it the last couple of years, but I'm gonna do it so it's every third Saturday of the month. That way
Hell
we
yeah.
can kind of like you can
Keep
get
the spacing and keep people there, and yeah.
yeah. So like also like a band like yours can book ahead of time, instead of like trying to book the show. But like it gets frustrating for me because like I'm trying to book my band out of town as much as I'm trying to help bands come to this, because I'm still an old school where I believe in trading shows and stuff, and like
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
people don't
That's
do
the whole
that.
point. That's how the scene should have always has been each of the bands boosting each other up and supporting each other.
And I've been long enough that like we used to have a rivalry with a band in town, and like we just and that was so like anti the whole thing. Like like I play with metal bands, I play with any band that like plays their stuff, because like I believe that the same way when my band's playing is the same way anybody's gonna have that feeling. Like there'll be stuff that you like and there's stuff that you won't like
Yeah,
much.
that's any band. Yeah,
Yeah, but like we all have the same response when you hear something new that you haven't heard.
exactly. Yep.
It's loud and you're like, oh, what the hell is this? And it's like kind of grating. And then after you adjust to it a little bit, you start thinking, what does it sound like to you? Like, oh, they sound a little bit like Green Day. I kind of like Green Day. Blah 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 blah. You know, that's how we all work. And,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
we're all a lot more similar than we think. And you know, even like there's so many crossovers. So there's not even really genres like there used to be. Like I
No,
mean,
it's
we
always
have
some kind of subgenre or a mixed genre. Yeah.
it's just my little subset of whatever my little crew of people, goth of we're goth emo death, whatever. And I'm just like I believe in rock or not, either rocks. It's like I think this was a Simpsons thing. Either rocks, it's like, or don't stop rocking or keep rocking. Like it's punk rock. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Metal's like we're not even gonna put rock to it. But like essentially, we have Metallica. I mean, Metallica is like the Beatles of our generation. It's like equal the playing field of like the Hessian kids at school and the teeny boppers and the football players and everybody
Yeah.
else. I wish Slayer had been that band, but Devil Worship still Devil Worship. But that's like Horror of the Devil. This song that I wrote for the next album, it was definitely influenced by like Venom, which I love Venom. Like they're one of my favorite bands of all time because they were so like, well, as much as like they had that movie on Netflix about what's it called? What's the movie called? About black metal.
Oh,
Yeah, the Lords of Chaos.
yeah.
And that was ridiculous. I mean, it was based on the true story, but it's still pretty ridiculous. It looks like a Hot Topic version of the movie. It's exaggerated. But like, Venom was a band like just like that, as well. Like, but I think people knew to take like the Evil in League with Satan wasn't really, how to resurrect demons or whatever. But so many bands were inspired by that. Mine included.
Yeah.
Slayer was inspired by him. Metallica was inspired by. Like hell, even if you look at Cursive Ezee's logo, it's kind of a tribute, my little tribute to Venom in a sense.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Unfortunately, we're running out of time here.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
why don't you shout out your bands, where everyone can find them at?
Okay, you can find us at tormentedsounds.com. Actually, I've started up that. So first year we'll have all the page for every band on it. But you can also find us on Bandcamp, Cursive Ezee, tormentedsounds.com, Tormented Sounds on YouTube. That's the best place to find. Yeah. And Let It Go. Cursive Ezee. I have a thing called Dead Earnhardt, but it's an acoustic project. So.
Hell yeah. Well, dude, thank you so much for coming on. I've had a blast talking
Yeah, me
with you,
too.
and I cannot wait to meet you eventually, playing a shot in Lima. And I would love to have you on anytime again.
Thank you very much. I would love to come on again.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on, man. I'll see you later.
Yeah. Good luck, man.
You too.
All right. Cool. Later.